Wow. Wasn't that amazing? All about PR. But yes, I'm all about courage. And the first step to any transformation is courage. So now we're about to get to the final video in this series, number 5. And it's all about getting social. So I don't want to hang about. I want us to get right down to it. And let's hear what Dee's got to say about getting social.
Thank you, Brenda. I always think this is the area where authors absolutely, they just love it, because social means exactly that. Social media, we can all congregate there, we can all chit chat, but there's a difference between social media when I'm writing to my brother or my best friend, and social media when I'm there as an author, and there's a very clear distinction. So what I would say with social media, because I found that I was on Twitter for a long time, I was having a reach of over 1 million people every week. And I really built book sales and built my reputation as an author through social media. It was so powerful. But it started with me, first of all, having to recognize that this was not Dee, as in friendly Dee, who talks about her shopping or whatever. This is Dee, the author, on social media. So I think that if you are an author, you have to decide, what am I going to be on this particular channel? Because if your real aim is to promote your book, you're going to have to kind of distinguish yourself, draw distinction between Dee and the books and Dee chit-chatting. So I want to talk a bit about Twitter, which is probably a good example, because I know we have many other channels, including LinkedIn, which is where I tend to live nowadays, and I engage with a lot of readers. But I found that Twitter was absolutely amazing in generating book sales for me all over the world, and for my readers congregating and writing to me. I think, first of all, you need to think about a decent profile. If you're there as Dee the author, then your profile needs to be about Dee the author. Those key words need to talk about author of, but also to keep your profile updated. So when my book got to number 150 on Amazon, believe you me, I changed my profile then. When I got a publishing deal in China, that was the headline that I wanted to have on my profile. But I made it clear I was the author of, and showed the books that I was author of, so that I could attract followers who were interested in following me because of my status as an author, and not just because, oh, she sounds fun or she sounds nice. Again, I had to be focused on book sales, on also generating awareness of my books. So I therefore had a program of messages, and I would suggest this, that you can't just pump out messages every day. Here's my book, link. Here's my book, hashtag. That really will not work. It will alienate the people that you are engaging with, or that you want to engage with. So think about writing a variety of content that ties back to your expertise. You're really on here as a key person of influence, an expert author in your field. So think about, what tips could I share on a daily basis that will have resonance? And then within that, maybe every 3 or 4 tweets, you might then, or messages, you then write about your book. Because again, if all you are doing is sending out messages about your book, people will get fed up. So I would have I'd have a 7-day program of tweets. I know people talk about automation. I'm all for that. For me, I never automated. I wanted to be very present on any social channel that I engaged with, so that I could respond quickly. I could put out any fires, like if somebody comes on, and I had one guy complained he'd received my book from Amazon and the pages were damaged, and it's like, not a lot I can do about that, but I can as an author say, I'm really sorry. I hope you've written back to them. So you need to manage your account. You need to manage the responses that you are going to give to the people that are writing to you, because you're looking to build a community of readers and advocates. Because if you can do this, if somebody writes to you, and I would get every day probably 3 or 4 readers writing, if you can send back a lovely personal message, and make sure you follow all your readers as well, they'll love that. If you can send back lovely personal messages, you can then say to them at some stage, would you do a review? And that's how I built my reviews on Amazon. And if you look at my reviews on Amazon, I have got hundreds upon hundreds of reviews where I've not told people what to say, which would be just disingenuous. But I've said to people, you're raving about my book, would you mind actually doing a review of it on Amazon. And then, of course, you've got fantastic material, because I encouraged readers, which I encourage you to do, to share photographs of them receiving my book. So again, you can do that, get people to share the pictures as it arrives on the doormat, or take a picture of it on their bookshelf. Or a lot of my readers will send in pictures with post-it notes, because when you get those lovely pictures, there's solid gold that you can reshare with your followers, and a thank you and a nice message. So what I'm really getting at when I talk about social media is you have to be super focused as an author, with an overriding aim of building a community of readers, of sharing fantastic content, of sharing great tips, and in between that, sharing links to your book. Another great tip on social is to share reviews. And one thing I've always done is I've got a few one-star reviews that are absolutely head in hands, gnashing and weeping and wailing of teeth. Believe you me, when I get a one-star review, I've not had one for a while now. I think I've got 3 on Amazon for my books. I will share a one-star review and say, well, this one really took the wind out of my sails. Why do I do that? Well, one, it's quite interesting. Why is an author sharing a one-star review? But human interest is that people will go and look at that one-star review, but they'll also see you've got hundreds of 5-star reviews, and they're likely to buy your book and disagree with the one-star review. So that's the case of there's no such thing as bad publicity.
No.
But the big thing about social, whatever the channel, is take it in the spirit of engaging. Engage with people. Ask how they are. Ask how they're getting on with your book. Send private messages to, I think, all of my readers that I followed back. I would then send private messages to, asking them how they were getting on. Interested in talking about their business as well, because people will like you based on how you make them feel about themselves. And whilst we would love to spend all day talking about our book on social media, people don't want that. They want to know that you care, that you're interested in them, that you thank them. I have thanked thousands of readers for buying my book with a personal message each time, with their name and what they do, because I'm truly grateful they've taken the time to buy my book and to write to me. So that's the one big thing that I'd share with you, is that really it's all about the human condition. We like people who like us, and we like people who like people. And I think that social media is a fantastic platform for any author, provided they see it as being so much more than just links to buy your book. It's about engaging, it's about interacting, it's about building a community and knowing when to take the spotlight off you and shine it on somebody else. And it's about asking for reviews, because like I say, all the way through these masterclasses today, Brenda, I am a woman who's all about book sales. What's the point in writing a fantastic book if it's not selling in the thousands? You've put all that effort in, you deserve to make money from it, you deserve to have the kudos for it. And so the great thing about social media is that you will get indirect book sales, because people you're following will talk to their followers. They'll recommend you as being a truly nice person. They'll recommend your book. And so you've suddenly got this reach, which is how I got to over 1 million reach on social media, on Twitter, was because people were sharing my content. And that's a great thing when you realize that the messages you are sharing are not just being received by your followers, they're interesting enough to be shared with their followers too, and so on. So I hope that's helped. Again, we only have a small amount of time, but I do hope that there are some useful takeouts there for authors.
Absolutely, Dee. I want to thank you very much indeed for this video and for the series of Beyond Your Book with Dee Blick, because you know Book Brilliance Publishing is not about just getting authors to have that, hold that book in their hand, but it's beyond the book, and that means book sales, opportunities, and growing their business. So until next time, Dee, I know we've got a lot planned for 2021, so for the future, so I'm looking forward to doing that. So thank you very much, Dee.
Thank you, Brenda.